Welcome back. So it's that time on a Friday, and this morning we have a South African Music Award-winning pianist and harmonica virtuoso, Adam Glasser, and he of course will be touring South Africa this month and collaborating with a variety of South African jazz artists, as well as doing some educational stops at institutions to pass down some of his wonderful knowledge. Now Glasser will have shows and workshops in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Komani, East London and in Cape Town, and he'll showcase songs from his latest album, Adam Glasser SA and Beyond, and leading contemporary pianist Bokani Dyer, who features on the album, will be accompanying Adam on these gigs in Johannesburg and in Cape Town. Now, although Adam Glasser is still based in the UK, he has returned constantly over the years to collaborate with some of South Africa's greatest, and has appeared at the Cape Town International Jazz Festival, also that staple on the jazz calendar, the South African Joy of Jazz, as well as Makhanda Festival, Bushfire in Eswatini, and of course many others, and performing workshops around the country. Now we are honored this morning with that introduction to have him here in studio with us. Adam, good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks so much for coming through with beautiful yellow just to brighten up the day.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So Adam, you know, just being back in the country, and between Britain, South Africa, I mean, both are home, but where do you feel most at home?
Most at home here. I'm a very patriotic guy. Ngiyazama ukukhuluma isiZulu. And I know all kinds of funny lyrics from having worked with rhythmic elements and the Manhattan Brothers. So I have a smattering of languages from different sources.
And to that point, you know, when you think about your earliest musical influences, where would you say that came from?
Well, this is definitely my father, Spike Glasser, who was the musical director of the musical King Kong. So when I was 5 or 6 years old, I was at the then Jan Smuts Airport watching the King Kongers leave South Africa. So I've had that music in my ears for a very long time.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of your father, I think he passed away in 2018. And, you know, as you say, here was also someone who was, you know, such a great influence on what became some of the greatest South African artists. You speak about King Kong, and that's legendary. When we look back, you know, we've got people coming in here, and King Kong is one that always comes up, you know, from the apartheid years. So your dad, you know, just talk to us about how he influenced you, quite apart from the other work that he did, but as a young boy growing up.
Well, he left when I was 7, but he bought me a harmonica for my 17th birthday. And I didn't know how to play it. And it took me a long time to actually get my head around it. And so I'm a late starter, which is why I have quite a lot of passion for teaching people. And it's difficult to play this one, but you can always start on a little one, and that's what my workshops will involve.
Yeah, so, and I would imagine one is never too old to learn, because...
Absolutely. I could teach you now to play, you can play lots of little songs on this harmonica.
Yeah, yeah. But so if you were to start teaching there, because, you know, it seems quite easy, it would be for you, but, you know, I look at it and I'm already thinking, oh my goodness, would I be able to breathe sufficiently in order to get the sound out? So, you know, obviously you need to have a passion to do that.
You do, but the thing is that if a learning process is broken down in enough steps, it's very easy to learn. And I have a system with numbers and lyrics, and it's basically the workshops I'm doing. And I should put a word in here for Concerts SA, because thanks to Andre Leroux and Concerts SA, that's the main reason I'm here. And also, what I kind of specialize in is encouraging people to use a little harmonica for music literacy. So the workshops that I'm doing are called music literacy via the harmonica. And when I've done workshops before, they've been for you know, one-off shots with kids. But at the moment, I'm trying to encourage teachers to take up the harmonica who already play an instrument, who would then maybe use this and try and scale it up.
And I love that. As someone who comes from a bit of a maths background, when we talk about mathematics and music, and you said right up front that, you've got little numbers on there, and, just incorporating all of that, I think, many people kind of miss that association between the two.
Yes, I mean, there is something kind of mathematical about it, because basically the numbers will just tell you whether to blow or draw. Donsa and futa, I'm trying to learn the different words, but the blow and draw. And so you start with a few basic exercises. And if you are also engaged in the music that you like, so for example, I've tried to find music that belongs. So I did a workshop a few years back at the Ubuntu Foundation, and I played these kids Jerusalema, and the whole class just started going nuts. So I'm trying to find out what music you like, or whoever wants to learn, and then base the learning material around that person's music. You can play Jan Pirevit or, anything.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Now, when one listens and, you look at the harmonica, I, for example, would not immediately associate that with jazz.
Have you heard of Stevie Wonder?
Yes.
Toots Thielemans?
Now that you mention it.
I tell you, there's some unbelievable jazz players. Younger than me, better than me. I could give you names. Fantastic jazz players. You'd be amazed. I mean, the youth of today, if you gave a kid a harmonica, I can tell you it'll wipe the floor with me in 5 years.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember, 10 years ago, I brought a group from Jerry Mololekwa's foundation in Tembisa, and they played here on Morning Live. And one of those lads, who was a small guy then, Martin Mapatla, has gone, and Zoe Mololekwa, they've all gone to New York. They've graduated from Manhattan. I tell you, the talent is phenomenal. And that's one of the things that excites me, because I've got a lot of stories, and I hope the younger people would like to listen to them.
And that's why I love when we do things like that, interviews like that here on Morning Live. And I always, would say to, especially the younger guests, put that in the archive, because we'll be pulling that out when you make it big. And inevitably, it happens.
Yes.
But, with regard to your visit now and what you'll be doing, who are you collaborating with this time around during this day? And what can your fans look out for?
Well, first of all, we have some gigs next week in Johannesburg. On the Wednesday, we're at the Library Cafe with Concord and Kabinde and a young guitarist, Keenan Ahrens. And then on Thursday, I'm at Chiesa de Pazzalupi. I call it Chiesa. Chiesa Nyama de Pazzalupi. I'm still getting my head around. Then Bokani Dyer and I and Keenan Ahrens are doing a gig. And then I also have some great workshops. On Saturday morning, I'm in Tembisa at Kafka, Jesse Mochale's place. I'll be demonstrating the harmonica. And also Monday on Gauteng Music Academy. And then I'm going to the Mlungisi Music Academy in Komani. Mlungisi Gagana, Mzansi Jazz Award winner, great bassist. If you Google I'm Old Fashioned on YouTube, you'll find us playing from 15 years ago. We did a video in the wonderful store, which is now gone Kohinoor, So I'm about legacy, and I could go on, shall I?
I love that. But, you also, as you said, love working with young and new talent. So how do you choose? How do you decide on who you should work with?
I'm open to anybody.
So anybody can contact you?
Exactly. I mean, the thing about these little harmonicas is that anybody can, they're inexpensive, made by Hona. They're a great company. They also make my CX12. And basically anybody can have a go at it. I've got people who are retired. I've got kids in primary schools learning. So it's a litmus test of talent, because if you did a bit of training on this, you could then say, hey, I want a trumpet or a saxophone.
And of course, we want to hear you play. But Adam Glasser, SA and Beyond, you've released that recently. How's that been received?
I've had some good reviews. I've had my previous album was with Summer Award was with Gallo, and Gallo have. I've had a long association with them, and so they've put it out. It's on all streaming platforms. I'm very proud of it because it's took me 7 years to make this album, and it's got a mixture of South African and I've got some very unusual stuff on it, so you should check it out. If you like South African jazz on the harmonica and with some great players.
Oh, why did it take 7 years, sir?
That's a long story. Sometimes
I knew there was a story in there
that's
somewhere.
a long story, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
well, when we have time, one day we'll sit and talk about it.
I'm very fussy about what's on that album is worth listening to. Yeah.
All right. And of course, Adam's going to give us just, you know, a little bit of his talent. And it's been a minute since we've had a jazz artist, so looking forward to this. We need to take a quick break, though, and then we'll come back and we'll ease you into the weekend.